the cloud. That is what is on. All right, cool. Man, it's 7 o'clock, and it's time to do this thing. I really appreciate everyone getting on here. And everyone, yeah, I muted everybody's phone, so unless you come on here, we should be good. If somebody new comes on and unmutes themselves, we should be good. The background noise might be me. Let me make sure. Let me slide. It looks like everybody is muted. Everybody is muted. Let me slide to the next one. Everybody is muted from what I see. So, yeah, I think everybody's muted. The background noise is me. So do me a favor. If you can't hear me, put it in the chat. Get my attention. So you guys can get this. What's going on, James? All right. So listen up. Listen up. So we are now currently, for some reason, I don't have audio. Does everybody else have audio? You give me a thumbs up if I can see you. Let me know if you got audio. All right. So if you don't have audio, maybe log off and then come back in. Cleon was good. If you don't have audio, log off and come back in. All right. So what's what we got? So I'm in a U-Haul right now. As you can see, we're driving down 285, and I want to talk about this, guys. So I got this U-Haul because I got the Airbnb joint. Got some somebody who's giving me furniture. All right. Which on Wednesday we're going to be doing Airbnb. We're going to go on Airbnb, and we're going to talk about a couple strategies where you can increase your bottom line by decreasing your expenses. Okay. So the principle of this is this. I'm excited. I'm about to go get this furniture. It's free. Essentially, all I got to do is get my U-Haul. I got to go over there, move it out, and it's about 42 miles one way, right? 42 miles one way to get there. Now, you know U-Haul, you know how they do. They charge you like 99 cents per mile, right? So I'm calculating this. I'm like, all right, so it's like $80-something just one way plus the rental fee. I'm good. So I'm excited. I'm trying to cut some corners so we can hurry up so I can get this thing done so I can do this call. So I can do this call from the comfort of my home versus inside a U-Haul truck. So we get there. We're driving there, getting through traffic. Boom, we finally get there. Right? Pull up into the U-Haul, punch the little code in, open up the gate, and then I realized as I'm going through the gate that I 100% completely forgot to bring, the key, that I forget to do this, the key to the U-Haul. Where's it at here? Got to bring the key to the U-Haul, right? And so I'm sitting there trying to figure out what to do, right? Trying to figure out what to do. How can I fix this problem? I'm trying to make sure I got it here. So I went all the way there, trying to think of what I can do to possibly get this this problem fixed. And I'm so focused on that I completely forgot to bring the key. Okay? And so what I want to do is I want to talk to you about the keys that you need to be successful. Okay? The keys that you need to be successful. So there's a couple of things that I've realized that are just super, super important when it comes to making sure that I'm prepared for success. So a lot of people, they want success, but they're not really prepared for it, okay? So we're going to talk about some of these keys that apply specifically to wholesaling and specifically to your business for success, okay? All right, so number one, keys to wholesaling success, knowing your market. Knowing your market, okay? So there's a couple of different ways that I want you to understand and really, really dive into your market. One of the ways that you can dive into your market, real simple, driving for dollars. And I talk about this all the time, but what does this actually do? I'm not talking about just driving for for apartments and houses. I'm talking about getting out there and being able to talk with the homeowners that are adjacent to the places that you're looking at. Okay, so here's a very, very good example. I went out driving for dollars this is about a week ago. Okay, about a week ago, and while I'm in the course of me driving for dollars, I saw an abandoned property, and then I saw one that I thought was abandoned that I didn't look abandoned. I mean, it looked abandoned, but to me, but for most people, it wouldn't look abandoned, right? And so during the course of this, I saw someone that I think she was getting something out of her car, laundry or something out of her car. And so I got out, and what most people don't do is they won't either knock on the doors left or right, or they won't see someone and actually start up a conversation with them. They're afraid to make hand-to-hand, go like back and forth with a person, eye-to-eye contact with them, right? They're afraid to talk with them and ask them questions. So what I did is I walked up to this person, I introduced him, I said, hey, my name is Tommy, I'm a local real estate investor in the neighborhood, and I'm interested in these properties. And so she told me about the property that was obviously vacant. Then she told me about the property that I was talking about. She told me that the person died the month before and that the sons were trying to figure out what in the heck to do with that property. Okay? So when I say know your market, I want you to know the people that are in your market. You know driving for dollars, right? Everybody here is driving for dollars. But when you're driving for dollars, you also need to be able to get out and talk with the people in your market. Talk with the old lady who lives in the house next to the one that you're looking at. Talk with the mail lady. Guess what? They know who they're delivering mail to and who they're not, right? Talk with the local business owners. Buy some of those shirts that say we buy houses, right? Those are the things that I need you guys to do. When I say driving for dollars, every time you're driving for dollars, it's not just looking for vacant properties. These are all extra things that I need you to focus on, okay? Another one, attending for knowing your market, attending local RIAs. Some of you guys are new. About 2-3 weeks ago, we did this push for everybody to go out and find a RIA, a new RIA. RIAs are real estate investment associations, right? So these are groups of people that come together. They're real estate professionals, investors, and they talk real estate. They pass deals on and forth, back and forth with each other. Wholesalers come in there and mingle with flippers, mingle with hard money people, right? So these are people that are investing their time into becoming more and more professional in the area of real estate. So going to those is going to help you know your market, okay? I need you to also get to know some property managers, okay? Property managers. Property managers are excellent people to know because why? Their clients are who? These are people who are investors or buyers that have houses or apartments for rent. They are managing, literally, they're in the business of managing the people that you want to talk to, okay? They're managing their assets. And guess what? They know when that asset is a non-performing asset, meaning that they are below market rent, they are having problems keeping tenants, they hear the backlash when husband and wife are going through divorce, and now they got to split their property up. They hear all that stuff, okay? They hear all that stuff and are a part of all that stuff. So a good thing for you to do is to mingle with them, get to know them, let them know what you do, and also put yourself in the best position, so that you can be there and provide properties for them. Because if they have buyers, if they have people that are doing well, they're going to be looking for new property. All right? And then you can get in contact with these people, make it a bi-weekly thing that you reach out to them, a standard text message, right? And they'll hear that, Mr. Johnson, who owns, these 3 houses over here, he's looking for another property. He's looking for something similar. Now you can just go shopping for him. You can go shopping for an individual and really just hone in specifically on that one person. If they know they want a 6-unit apartment complex in a certain area, well, guess what? You can scour that neighborhood because you know your market, right? You scour that neighborhood specifically for properties that fit that portfolio, or specifically for properties that fit and match what that person wants. So, hooking up with property managers have a lot of benefits. You can get some buyers from them. They're also going to be able to tell you this, especially mid-range property management. Okay, mid-range property management, a lot of their clients are some of the lower level hedge fund companies. Okay, so what I mean by lower level hedge fund companies, like these hedge fund companies that are managing $100 million or less. Okay, so some of these hedge fund companies are $1 billion. They're managing billions of dollars. So they're buying big office parks. They're not going to be really interested in your small apartment complex. Okay, but something under 100 million, they're going to be in contact with them, and they're looking to buy bulk property. Okay, now doesn't mean they won't buy one-offs, but they're going to be buying stuff and at scale. But they're also going to be able to provide. They're also going to be able to buy property that fits the things that you probably will be able to find, like single-family homes, duplexes, tris, quads, and a little bit bigger, right? So they're going to be able to give you insight on where things are coming to. So, for example, a couple of years ago in Smyrna, the Atlanta Braves decided they were going to be looking for property in the Smyrna area, okay, or to move where they were currently at, and they didn't tell anybody, or they told very few people. But some of the people that did know are some of the people that we're going to talk about on this list. But property managers, they have the inside scoop. Why? Because to do that, they have to raise capital. Hedge fund companies like to invest in big projects that can raise capital, okay? They're going to pass that information on to a lot of different people. So wouldn't it be nice, wouldn't it be great for you to know as an investor that the Atlanta Braves are thinking about buying property in this particular area in Smyrna? And you can get into that before it happens. Make sense? So getting involved with companies like that are going to give you the inside scoop. Another person that can give you the inside scoop. How many of you guys have been driving for dollars and you've seen code enforcement out? Anybody? You've seen like the little truck or a little car that says code enforcement? Your county code enforcement? Nobody? Yes? No? All right. So if you're not doing that, then maybe you're driving for dollars at the wrong time, because code enforcement is like a 9 to 5 type of a deal. Or maybe we're not driving for dollars enough. Okay? I'd say probably at least 30 to 40% of the time, I'll see it code enforcement. Or maybe I take that back. Maybe it's just that your eye's not trained for it right now. Maybe you're not trained to see it right now, right? So what I highly encourage for you guys to do is to take note of what the code enforcement trucks, what do they look like? They normally look like a plain white car or a plain white truck, and they typically have your city seal on it and the word code enforcement. Or sometimes if it's a truck, it'll be on the back of the tailgate, okay? But I want you to keep your eye out for it. If you ever have, I made this point a while ago, you ever have someone that like buys a new car and you normally don't see that car before, but now that they bought the car, you see that car everywhere. So go look for what the code enforcement car looks like. Go on the code enforcement website, see what their fleet looks like. I guarantee you're going to start seeing those cars throughout your day and while you're driving for dollars. But nevertheless, when you see one, you need to strike up a conversation with them. You need to be honest with them, tell them what you're doing. There you go, the reticular activation system, there it goes. So you need to see what they're, they need to know what you're doing, so be honest with them, tell them you're a wholesaler, okay? We're looking for investors to come in, buy some of these properties, fix the code violation so they don't have to keep writing this stuff over and over again, okay? And just, in general, beautify the neighborhood. It's a win-win for everybody. They drive tax revenue in there. They pay the the violations off. And Daphne said, I think I've seen a few. They pay the code violations off. There's not so many vagrants, moving in and out the neighborhood. You're gonna do a 75. Yeah, over to the right. This is telling me to stay this way. Is it? Yeah. Okay. All right. Back to the house, right? Yeah. So you're gonna do all of that, and they're gonna give you all that information. But relationships start with some easy stuff, right? Yeah. Yes, I'm kind of moving. I'll tell you the story. I think I started it, but I'll finish it. So relationships start with like just the intro, right? And then as you get around there, you're going to start to notice these people more and more. And you might strike up a conversation where you can actually get that code violation list, which is a very, very, very good list to get on. Okay? Good? All right. So I think you got to get over here. So what that code violation list allows you to do, is going to give you a list of all the areas where the houses, what they say, are unfit or uninhabitable. All the list where the grass is too tall, where they haven't shoveled their snow and there's ice on the sidewalks and they didn't take care of the property. So those type of properties are the ones that you're already looking for. But now they're going to give you that list with an address. So this now stops you having to go and just mindlessly driving for dollars back and forth up and down every street. Now you have an exact address that you can go to, all because you decided that you were going to become a professional to learn your area, okay? The last thing I want to talk about besides for knowing your market, did you guys know that you could go down to City Hall, because this is all public knowledge, and ask to see the city's 5-year plan, right? Cities have, most of the time it's a 5-year plan, some of the time it's a 3-year plan. They have what they call a 5-year plan for growth. It's a plan. The highway doesn't get widened off of a town hall meeting that happens on the beginning of the month, right? It's something that happens, that's been planned for years, okay? They don't decide to dump, $10 million in creating this park overnight. It's something that they've been deciding on for a long period of time. So if you can go down there and you can see the city's 5-year plan, you're going to know where investors. See, this is the thing. Like high-level investors that probably are the ones that are going to buy a plot of land from you, okay? And know that plot of land in 2 or 3 years that they're building a shopping plaza right down the street, and a Walmart and a Target and all that other stuff. Those type of investors that are doing like big numbers, they know this stuff. So if you can find property that might not fit what a normal house flipper would want to get involved with, if you can get a hold of this 5-year plan, you can look and find properties that other people are passing up. All right. So if you know that 123 Main Street right now in today's market, if you go do your ARV right now, man, 123 Main Street, the numbers just don't match. Like they don't fit. Okay. But you go to City Hall, you see the 5-year plan, you say, wow, man. In the course of 5 years, they're building a shopping plaza with Target, with Bed Bath Beyond, with all these other places right there in it. And this plot of land right here, this house and these 2 lots of vacant land are going to be worth exponentially more, okay? Because you did that homework, you can now address those deals. Now that would not be deals, you can send those to people that have that type of foresight, right? Where does that where those type of buyers at? Property management, okay? Going to RIAs. Those are the type of people that are doing more than just flipping a house. That's the circle I need you to get yourself around, okay? So that's That's key number one, knowing your market. Key number two, knowing your craft. Knowing your craft. You got to know your craft. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know your numbers. You got to know how to negotiate, right? So going through this course, not once, not twice, but at least 3 times, especially if you're new. Now, some of you guys, if you have wholesaling experience, and you're good, right? You should be good. You might only need to go once or twice. Maybe you just go over, you pick and choose modules. But for some of us that are brand new in wholesaling, I need you to go through this thing at least 3 times. At least 3 times. You're gonna pick something up new when you do that. I'm going through a course right now, a social media course. I'm going through a social media course, and I've already gone through the course once, and now I'm working my second time through the course, okay? And I'm picking up things that I didn't see or hear before, right? So make sure you're going through the course more than 1 time, okay? I'm sorry, more than 2 times. Next one under knowing your craft. Seek mentorship. You guys are doing phenomenal because you took the plunge and you're in this your local market. I do these free meetups, and these free meetups are fantastic. Because we get to meet
Tommy, I think you're breaking up.
Mingle, and we get to talk and talk. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Somebody
Talk.
give me a thumbs up. Can you hear me? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay, that's better.
All right. But you really need to find someone that you can provide value to in your local market. Okay.
Start over with that point. I'm sorry, because I wasn't able to hear you either. Sorry.
Sure. I said finding mentorship in your local market. You need to find someone that you can provide value to, more value than what you're receiving. Okay? Find someone that you can provide more value than what you're receiving. Think about this. There was a secret. It was a trick or a tactic or whatever. One thing that one of my mentors told me that I was able to close a deal on, I was able to find more deals, and that one trick, it just came through conversation, right? It just came through us having a normal conversation. And I said, wow, that's really smart. Let me adjust this. Let me see if this works for me. And I was able to make a $7,000 wholesaling fee off of it. Okay. We're working on, my brother and I had an old list. And that was just sitting in my computer. And I gave it to him. I said, hey, I've already called through this list. Just check this list again. This list is a couple of months old. And through, obviously, me and his relationship, he was able to stumble upon a deal for a Subjectto property that we're working on, that the seller is absolutely astonished that we're able to do. And he's really, really happy that we're going to be able to do this for him. He's going to get about $2,500 in his pocket. He's ecstatic about it, okay? That is just from mentorship between me and him. So find someone that you can provide more value to than you're receiving, because you never know within a conversation where that can take you. So knowing your craft, that's another way to do it. The other thing that I think is important that I think we don't do enough is we have this Facebook group. If you guys aren't in the Facebook group, all you have to do is go into Facebook, go into the search column and type in E2E Wholesaling Edition, request entry into the group, into the Facebook group, answer the 3 questions, I'll get it, and then we'll let you in. But I don't think a lot of people take advantage of the Facebook group and the power of that, right? You got to understand, these are some of these people, most of these people you've never met before, but now we're all on the same team trying to create a deal, okay? Now we're on the same team trying to create a deal, and what I need you guys to do is take advantage of this and practice negotiations. Practice setting the appointments, okay? What I need you to do is get on find someone that you can vibe with, exchange numbers. If you got to give them the Google Voice number because you don't trust them, cool, give them the Google Voice number. And practice negotiations. There's a script there in our course. Practice setting the appointment. knowing your craft is more than just knowing the numbers. It's knowing how to explain a contract. Practice that with someone, okay? It's knowing how to break down why you can't, can someone answer that question in the text, please? Why you can't pay what they think their house is worth. But you don't want to be in front of the person. That's the first time you're trying to explain that. Practice that while there's no money on it, where there's no money on the line, right? Take the time to get over someone, partner with someone, establish an accountability partner, which I've seen a couple of you guys do, so hats off to you on that one. But establish accountability partners and practice this skill. Practice your craft. Practice speaking, right? A lot of us, I know for myself, I hated, I was definitely afraid of talking in front of people. So what I had to do was I had to force myself to do that by taking a speech class and learning how to speak in front of people. And then over time, I stopped worrying so much about the little things, and I just became more of myself, right? And so, but that doesn't happen overnight. You guys got to practice that stuff with each other, okay? So that's part 2, knowing your craft, knowing your craft. The last one, here it is. The last one is, I'll get to the questions here in a minute. The last one is the most important one. Here it is. Knowing yourself. Knowing what you are good at and what you are horrible at. And knowing what you're mediocre at, okay? Being honest with yourself. Doing a litmus test with yourself. Like, where am I at? Where's my base at? Okay? Understanding that what you are having problems with, what your shortcomings are, understanding that is, and being real with yourself is a very, very powerful thing, okay? Because now you have something that you can work on to get better at, okay? So if in the course of me doing some soul searching, I realized that I am not a people person. I don't know how to connect well with people, okay? In the course of me doing that, I realized I don't know how to influence people. There's a good book out, right? Some of you guys know it, knowing how to win friends and influence people, right? Maybe that's something that you need to invest in, okay? In the course of learning how to negotiate, there's a good book called Never Split the Difference, right? Learning how to negotiate with people and not having to always meet them in the middle every single time, right? Learning how to get your point across. So, but you can only do that through self-realization. You can only do that by realizing, okay, this is where I'm good at, this is where I'm lacking at, okay? The other thing is, a lot of people talk about your why, which is super important. I get it. But really, understanding what's going to stop you from achieving your why. What is your problem? What is the thing that you hate the most, right? What is the thing that you hate the most that is stopping, that is impeding you from becoming what you know you have the ability to become, okay? So if you, knowing that, hold on one second, try to do this. Knowing that is super, super important. Why? Because if you don't even recognize what the problem is, you can't change it. But I need you to hate the problem so much that it forces you to change. I made this point a little while ago on an Instagram post. A lot of people don't, like, you're getting ready for a wedding or something, right? A lot of people won't try to work out and lose weight, even though they know it's good for themselves, until they're forced to look at themselves in that tuxedo or in that dress and say, I really hate the way I look. And all of a sudden now they're going out there and they're doing double sessions, right? They're out there going out and they're killing it. They're working out twice as hard as they ever worked out. The problem is that it's only short-lived. But I need you to find something like that you just can't live with yourself anymore until you change. Okay? I need something like that of the mistakes. They're so sick and tired of you just constantly screwing up.
Tommy, you're breaking up
That
again.
you're not being able to provide for your family, that you're willing to do whatever. Okay, am I back?
I think you are.
Am I there? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're there. You sound good.
All right, cool. Okay, all right, cool. To change. So some of you guys saw I put on Instagram yesterday, I think it was, there's 6,000 something, 6,900 something list, right? That someone here on the call, give you a shout out, Kiana, who got what we call this Waterless. I talked about it, I don't even know, maybe, I don't know, it must have been well over a month ago. Talked about getting this Waterless, right? for you guys that are new, one of the tactics that we'll use is that you will, if you have, especially if you have government-run water, you will reach out to the county who is doing your water, who's providing water, and you write them a simple letter and say, hey, I'm doing research on the real estate market here in wherever you're at. And I'm just trying to figure out what the climate of the real estate market is. And one of the ways we can check this is see how many vacant homes there are. And one of the things that I've noticed is that most people, they might go without electricity for a day or two, but they're not going to go over 30 days without water. So what you're simply going to do is you're going to request a list of all of the properties that have had their water off for greater than 30 days. Okay? And if you get that list, 9 times out of 10, most of those properties are vacant because most people are not going to go or live without water. Okay? So Kiana took action and she recognized, okay, let me do this. And she got this huge list. Now we have 6,900, I don't want to say problems because they're not problems, but 6,900 properties to go through. So I know I'm not good at this stuff, like the tedious stuff, right? Like for me to do that, I just hate it, right? So I have 2 options. I either don't do it, or actually really 3 options. Don't do it, do it in bite-sized portions, or pay someone to do it, right? So knowing that I'm not good at this stuff, what do you guys think I'm gonna do? Find somebody to do it, right? So exactly. So understanding what you're good at and playing your role is super, super important. So those are my 3 keys. Those are my three keys. Knowing your market, all right? Knowing your market and all those things that I listed there, right? Knowing your market and knowing your craft. Knowing your craft, all right? And then finally, knowing yourself, all right? So I want to, real quick, I want to kind of open it up. Can you look in the middle? Yeah, it's right there in the middle. It's a green one. So I want to kind of go through some of your questions here. And so to answer why I'm still in, I really wanted to, I got you, Charles. I'm going to read through these real quick, and then I'll go to that. The reason someone asked, why am I moving? And I was supposed to be moving some furniture out of a Airbnb, out of a storage unit for an Airbnb. And the whole reason that I talked about what I talked about is knowing the keys. Well, guess what? I forgot the key. So I got all the way there, and I forgot that the key was back at home. So I said, you know what? I need to know the keys. And I figured if I know them, or this realization kind of came through this process, I wanted to make sure that we all knew the keys to at least wholesaling and the success. So let's see here. I think we have seen. Are you moving? Yep, you're breaking up. Time losing connection. The Facebook group, I think someone answered that. So Maria, we just talked about that. Appreciate, yep, you were supposed to remind me, and you did. Thank you so much. So that's how we got big lead list. I can't take credit for that. That's working with partners. Hey, there's a prime example of working with people. I recognize Kiana. I recognize people who who are actually taking action, and she went out and did that. So hats off to her.
Hey, Tommy,
Yes. Who's this?
this is being this Maria, this is being recorded, right? So
Correct.
I can, okay, good. Okay, thank you.
Correct. So if you missed that part, it's a Waterless. So that's how we got that. The Waterless that I just talked about.
Awesome.
Okay. Can you explain how you export data from the county and convert it to a CSV file to get it? No, it's I'll go look for it. So it's so you basically it's gonna come to you in a they should send it to you in an Excel format, Excel spreadsheet. That's how it should come to you. All right. And then if you do, all you have to do is you're going to have to literally click a button. You're going to click a button and say export. It's when you do export, it's going to say export PDF, Word, whatever. And there's going to be one that says CSV file. And so you're going to export it. Just hit that, and it literally does it for you. So it should be relatively straightforward and simple. Let's see. Cold calling for sure. Yep, Howlin friends and influence people. Yep, that's it. What is surplus funds? What do you mean by talking about for the county? Explain that to me. What are you talking about surplus funds? Let me go to Charles real quick. So,
hey, so I've been just binging information. Went through, my second time through the course already, and all obviously all over YouTube as well. And I was coming across something in real estate about surplus funds. Like there's a way. Sometimes what it sounded like is sometimes there's been a sale made and there were surplus funds left over in a foreclosure type situation or something. But I couldn't quite decipher everything that they were breaking down, and this was like literally right before the call. But I got on here and figured I just asked. Like,
yeah, I would have to see what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
And there's probably a way that you could utilize that information.
What's up, man? How you doing? How you doing down there in Louisiana?
Surplus and tax liens.
So the tax liens I know, surplus I don't, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah, they're associated with each other.
So if you can show that or put that in the group and show me what you're talking about, then I'm quite sure there's a way we can figure out how we can extract some data from that.
Okay.
My man Charles, let me get to Charles because he had his hand up. Let me see here.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yep, there you go.
I sent you a message, I think it was last week when I was dealing with a buyer. I want to get more information on how you do that not short sale, Subjectto. He told me that it'll be a good question to ask in a group. Explain
Correct.
the process.
So you have you have someone who is, you have a property that you can't wholesale. So actually, let me back up. So, because some people don't know Subjectto. All right. So a Subjectto property is a property that probably does not fit the standard wholesaling model. Okay. So it's something where your numbers don't match. Okay. Your numbers don't match, and you're going to need to try to figure out a creative way to get rid of this, not get rid of it, but move this property. So typically what is going to happen is that you're going to do your numbers, you're going to find that there's not enough room to do a standard wholesale deal and then turn a profit for your investor. So what you can do is take a property, and let me see if I can just give you the example that we're working on right now. So the guy, he owes $154 on his property. It was $154, and he is 2 months behind on his mortgage. His mortgage is $1,100. So these are all questions that you're going to need to know if you're going to do a subject property. Okay, so you guys might want to write that down. You need to know what they owe on their mortgage, how much is their mortgage, how much is their taxes. You're going to need to also get what they call a mortgage authorization form, which is going to allow you to find this information out, because you don't want to just take their word for it. All right. They sometimes people conveniently forget that they didn't pay, a month, and they're already a month behind, and they're trying to convince you that they're only 1 month, right? So,
hey, run it down again real quick one more time. So, the three, I think you said like 3 or 4 things you need to ask.
correct. So, how much is their balance, right? So, in this particular case, he owes $154,000. How much is their monthly mortgage payment? Okay. And when I say that, that means anything that's also associated with their monthly mortgage payment. So that also could be their like association fees. Like sometimes they'll say, "Oh yeah, my mortgage is only $1,100, but they got a $200 monthly association fee." So anything that is involving paying for that property, right? You need to know. Okay. So once you figure that out, taxes, all that stuff, you also going to need to get what they call a mortgage authorization form. Okay. That mortgage authorization form is going to give you the ability to speak with their mortgage company on their behalf. And so sometimes this is a little iffy, and there's a way to get around it. If the mortgage company does not want to let you just being a jerk, really, even though you got the authorization form and they still don't want to talk to you, there's a way to get around that. All you have to do is get on a 3-way with the owner and just be quiet and let the owner, verify who he or she is, and then write down the information. Okay. So in my particular case, so I'm just going to walk you through this. I asked him, I said, "How much do you owe?" He said, $154. I said, "How much are your mortgage payments?" He said, $1,100 a month. The other question you need to know is how far behind are they? So he said he's 2 months, right? He's 2 months behind. Another good one to know is when did this mortgage get started, and how long or have they refied, right? So he bought this house in 1990, I think he said he bought it in 99 or 97, but then he refinanced in 2006. Why is this important? Because all the interest is front loaded, right? So this is what makes Subject-To's nice, right? Is because he refied in 2006. It's now 2019. It's 13 years later. And so that's 13 years where he was paying, when he was making his $1,100 a month payment, probably $50 of that first payment went to principal. The rest went to interest. Okay. So now he's 13 years into it. Now we're getting to the chunk of where when we put money on this thing, it goes a lot of it goes to principal. So it's going to bring the principal down. So I don't want that to start over. So this is what Subject-Tos do. Okay. Those are questions you need to know. But the reason why Subject-Tos are good is because now I can get into that property the way that we structured it. Which I said, "Listen, sir," his name is George. I said, "George, we're going to pay your mortgage. You get you back up to date on your mortgage. Okay. So you don't have to worry about that. It's not going to hit your credit. We're going to put some money in your pocket, right? I don't tell them what the money is right up front. I wait towards the end. Okay. We're going to put some money in your pocket, George. I really don't know exactly how much that's going to be. I still got to crunch some numbers, but we're going to be able to put some money in your pocket. Okay. And we're going to be able to get this thing done. And here's the cool thing is that your credit's going to be great. Your credit's going to be good because we're going to take care of it. We're going to invest in the property to make it better, to make it look better. But here's what I need you to do. I need you to deed the property over to us. Why? Because I need to protect myself just as well as you need to protect yourself. You're going to be protected because we're not going to spend all this money paying your mortgage, getting your mortgage up to date, and then enhancing the property and then turn around and leave. Right? That doesn't make any sense. We're protected because now we're on the deed. After we do all this, you can't go around and say, "Oh no, this is my house. I want to back it out." So that's why we need to be on the deed. But the mortgage is still going to stay in your name, and we're going to improve your credit by paying on time every single month. Okay. Now, to some people, you're going to say, why in the world would anybody do that? But for George and people like George all across this country, they will jump at that opportunity. They would jump at that opportunity because they have no other option. They're getting ready to lose their house and get nothing. So during that subject to how we structure that for us financially, we need to find an investor who wants to invest in that. So that's going to be $2,200. They got to catch up on the mortgage. 30. Here's a good thing. Always set your negotiations up higher or lower, depending on who you're speaking with. So I told George eventually that we were going to be able to put $2,500 in his pocket. Okay. I told my buyer that we were going to put $3,500 in George's pocket. Why did I do that? I said George up low because if I can get George more, then he's happy. I set the buyer up high because if she wants to negotiate, I can get down lower, right? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to position myself where either way we can make this deal work, okay? So keep it with me, $2,200 because it's $1,100 a month, $2,200, right? $1,100 for month one, $1,100 for month two. So that's $2,200 to get the rent back up. I mean, the mortgage back up. $3,500 going to my seller, who's George. I'm talking with my buyer now, right? So I'm telling, hey, you're gonna come out $3,500 to pay George, and then $4,000 on my end. Okay, so it brings her total up to $9,700. Okay, so she's gonna pay $9,700. I'm gonna get $4,000. George might be able to get $35,000, but if she wants to negotiate, we'll negotiate. If she wants to negotiate, we'll negotiate down to $25,000, and George is okay with that already. Make sense? And then, so what she's going to do is she's going to get that property. She's going to be all into that property for $9,700. She'll put some carpet and some paint down, and she's going to lease option that. This is smart. She's going to lease option that. The house is ARVing out if they were to fix it up all the way at like 190 something. But because it's not that she's not going to do it that nice. All right. She's not going to be able to sell it at 190 something. She's going to pretty much make it rental ready and do a lease option. And so when she makes it rental ready, it will be worth roughly probably about 154. It's probably about 165. It'll be worth. Now, typically, when you do a lease option, the person comes to you and they put 10% down as an option price, and that 10% will eventually come off the back end off the sale. So she's probably going to do maybe not 16,000, but she's going to find someone who's going to want to be into that property and she's probably going to charge them about $10,000, and they're going to pay rent. They're going to pay rent for the rest of the remaining amount. So she's going to get pretty much her whole investment up front, and they're going to be paying it down because they're 13 years into the actual project, and then we paying it down. So that's how that lease option, that subject to property would work from your perspective as a wholesaler and understanding how it works from the back end.
Two questions. One, that $4,000, that's going to your pocket, or are you all working on that deal together? And the second one, is she putting the deed in a trust?
I don't know what she's putting the deed in. That's up to her on how she wants to structure it. And on your end, I wouldn't really worry about it. I would just, however they want to do it, let them do it the way they want to do it. On the $4,000, yeah, that's $4,000 that's going into my company's pocket. That's not something that's going into her pocket. She's the one paying the $4,000. That make sense?
Yes, that's like your assignment for finding the deal.
It's like exactly my assignment fee. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. So let me see. What is he saying? What are we saying when we're asking for the Waterless? Exactly what I said. So you're going to tell them that you you're doing some research on the real estate climate, and one of the things that you're looking for indicators is vacancies, and we want to match our vacancy list up with another list. It might be from the post office or whatever. We need to match up our vacancy list, and so that is what we're asking for is any properties that have had their water shut off for greater than 30 days. And if they don't like 30 days, they might want something more. Just go a little bit farther out, because 30 days might be a little bit fresh. What the heck, man? But that should work. That should work. So George is staying. How do you know how much to give the seller when doing subject to? Just by doing the math. You know, you have to make sure that whoever is the buyer, the end buyer, is obviously is going to be lucrative for them, right? I don't want to have this deal lingering around, sitting around for a long time. So, so I work my way backwards and make sure that they have enough equity. So when they get this property, they're gonna, right now he owes $154, but they're gonna have to pay about $10,000 just to get into the property, and about another $3,000 or $4,000 making it rent ready. So, you know, I want to make sure that they can get into that and then still have equity in it. And once they have equity in it, and especially knowing that she wants to lease option it, I already know how she's going to play the game. She's going to, you know, just make sure that it just makes sense. It just has to make sense. Just like the mathematical formula for ARV, right? Make sure that your end investor is making some money, and then you can work backwards from there. George stays in the property. George could stay in the property as a lease back, but he's not. You could do that. It's called a lease back. So is the deed in your name or in the buyer's? No, the deed's not in my name. Remember, I'm the wholesaler. The deed's going to be in the end buyer's name, the investor, the fix and flipper. When would the appropriate time to establish LLC as a wholesaler? You can establish one right now. You can establish an LLC right now. You don't have to, but it would be a good thing to do because you get some tax breaks. If I was doing the subject to hold the property, how do I need to get? Do I need to get a trust? No, you do not need to get a trust. And if I'm assuming that you're talking about, Charles, if you are the person that is subject to and you're the actual investor. No, you do not need to get a trust in order to do a subject to. Okay. Trust. So there's a lot of question about trust. Trust are a way for you to protect. It's just asset protection. Basically, you have someone who's established, is called a trustee, a lawyer or someone that you trust, no pun intended, that is going to handle your affairs on your behalf. And they are going to be kind of like the veil. They're going to be the gatekeeper for people that are trying to look for you. So you can have 123 Trust, and when they look up, all right, this property, I see this property on 321 Main Street. Who owns it? Oh, it's 123 Trust. Who the heck is 123 Trust? There's no name there for me to skip trace. I don't know. I don't know if this is Louis or if this is Brandon. And I really want to sue Brandon because I slipped and fell on the front of this place and I can't find who the owner is. And this trust, there's something there, but there's no name for me to skip trace. And it's leading me to another corporation, which is a holding company. And it's just a way to kind of block access to who the real owner is. Okay. And then you have the people who are what you call the estates of the trust, or the ones that will receive the benefits from the trust. That would be, if I'm the person who established trust, that would be me, right? I'm the one that receives the benefit of it, but it's very difficult for you to find me because I have this trust set up. All right, so when a property goes in foreclosure, do you have until the auction date to bring the mortgage current? Normally it's actually the Friday before. So let's say it's getting ready to go to auction on Tuesday. You'll have to have everything will have to be settled up by like Friday, normally the Friday before, like close of business. Okay, let's see what time it is. We got a couple more minutes because we're going to make this hard stop at 8. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody have any deals that they're going through right now that they want to shout out and they're looking for buyers. They're looking for answers to questions. Anybody have any deals that they're doing right now?
Yes, Charles, I just found a homeowner who's going through bankruptcy. He has 7 properties in Baton Rouge. So I'm trying to figure out the ARV for those 7. And then what I did was I went to Zillow, see what sold recently in the area. That way I could start calling those people, which I identified 2 people, already called them, to see if they're interested in buying more rental properties. Found out what their price was, what they're looking for. Are they open to doing rehab? So now I just have to negotiate 7 different properties and get them all under contract.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, and you found those how?
So I pulled a list from a list source, pre-foreclosures, back in my hometown. So I'm gonna be doing this virtually, but I got my sister, I got my realtor. They'll be able to go by there, look at the property, take pictures for me. But I found them doing pre-foreclosure. Wow. And I was just giving them a cold calling.
Okay. How long before they hit the auction block? Do you know?
So right now they're not up for auction, but the reason why he is one, and then when he told me about the one, he told me about the other ones. He got to unload all of them because he's going through bankruptcy. It's one that's in pre-foreclosure, but he have to liquidate all his assets.
Wow. Okay.
So you got any tips on finding? I know you did the video adding up the homes in the area, dividing it by the square footage, multiplied by whatever the square footage of that home. You got any other tips when it comes to coming up with that good offer price?
Yeah, they are stuff you already know. Get the ARV and work backwards. Get the ARV and go from your 0.7 if that's what your market calls for. Much repair costs minus your fee. How much money you want to make? Right? You bang this right here. And that'll give you your price. That'll give you exactly how much you should be offering.
Okay.
Yep. Let me see here. When a property goes in foreclosure, do you have until how do you skip trace the properties that are in a trust, or do you just send them a mail? You're making a left. No. Oh. So I mean, I'm telling you guys, there are so many properties out there, right? Don't get so wrapped up in the trusts. Like there's probably a way out there that you can crack that code, but there's a reason why it's in a trust. So I like to think this logically, right? There's a reason why somebody went through all this trouble to put their property in a trust, right? And so if you do find it, the chances of that they want to sell is probably slim, number one. And you're going to spend so much time. How many other properties could you have found in that same amount of time? So just, I would, if you really want to be the person that knows how to crack the code of trust, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the person to teach you that, because my mind is like, why spend 10 hours on trying to figure out how to get that one trust, right? And you're literally going to have to do that for every trust. It's not something that you're going to have to do one time. Like, because every trust is set up differently. Everybody has their own rules. Some of them are actually, the trustee is a lawyer, so you're going to have to deal with that. Their whole job is to make sure that you never get a hold of them, right? Some of them, it might be, their grandmother is the trustee. Might be a little bit easier for that. But my thing is, like, why invest so much time in that? Just go move on and find another project. I know my internet. When a property goes, do you take pictures of the property on the appointment, or do you wait until the seller is not there? No, I take it on the appointment. I tell them up front too. It's all about positioning yourself, but I tell them up front. I say, listen, hey, this is what his appointment is pretty much going to go. I'm just going to walk around the house, take a look, get a feel for the repairs, and then I'm just going to take photos. I'm going to take a lot of photos. So, before I take 2 photos per room. And then on top of that, I'm going to do a video walkthrough at the very end. And show the buyer's website to help build my buyer's list. Yeah, that's a very good idea. If you want to go through time of doing that, that's awesome. Yeah, you could do that and set up something where you're generating traffic to come to that site, but then you still definitely have to qualify them. I was talking with someone today about qualifying buyers. We talked about it with my cousin's last call about qualifying buyers. So, yeah, definitely something that you want to do. So, all right, everybody. That brings us to our time for the night. Wednesday, I am going to be doing this live from the complex. We're going to be talking about Airbnbs. You're going to have to bear with me because we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this whole project. We're going to be doing this inside a live event. Okay. So I'm going to be standing in front of you. I'm going to try to make sure I speak loud enough that you can hear me. I'm going to test and come back and forth and make sure that you guys can hear me. But we'll be doing this in front of the group. It will be recorded as well, so you guys can get that as well. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Make sure if you haven't, make sure you go out and you find some RIAs. Get involved in a RIA, and make sure that you guys are getting a part into your local market. Remember those 3 keys, man. Remember those 3 keys. Those 3 keys in wholesaling will definitely get you far. All right, you guys take care. Love you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Quick question. How can I look at this video again?
You're gonna post it to the Facebook group. The E2E Wholesaling, you're gonna post it to the Facebook group.
On the Facebook group. All right, cool. Appreciate it, man.
No problem, Mike. Much success to you, brother.
Likewise. Where you from?
Well, from Louisiana, but I'm out here in California right now. But I'm doing virtual wholesaling in Louisiana, the actual physically here in California.
How does that affect wholesaling? And we have, here's what I will say: solving problems. Is that right, Marlon? Solve problems. And when there's an economic downturn or correction in the market, whatever you want to call it, what you need to do is you solve problems. And there's going to be problems. So I don't care if you're a newbie, a veteran, wholesaling works either up or down.
Anybody in North Carolina out here? Guess not. Blessings, y'all. Good luck.